Yeah, welcome everyone to our class. Actually, this is the 28th lesson we are doing since we started. We are in lesson 28. The total lessons we have for this course is around 32 lessons. But of course, we said that we will have some other extra 4 lessons for reading and writing. But we've been learning more of vocabularies in Swahili. So, once again, karibuni sana. Karibuni sana means welcome, and we are looking today at the traveling. So we'll be looking at vocabularies that are related to the word, or vocabularies that are related to traveling. In this case, either you are traveling via air, you are traveling via water, you are traveling via road. Any form of traveling, will be looking at more vocabularies in regards to that. Remember, in our last class, we were looking at vocabularies that were related to office. So office and everything to do with office is what you were looking at. So today we are looking at the vocabularies that are in line with the traveling. So hope we will catch up as soon as possible. So let me just start straight. I'll be using my side screen today, and I'll start with the word traveling itself. So let me move this up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, now you can see me. So I'm just doing some little setting. Now it's okay. So I'll be using my side screen. Today I'll be using the green side screen, the blue side screen. So we start with the word travel.
Can you expand it a bit? Because it's quite small on my screen.
Okay, let me do that. Let me see where I can expand it. Let me first of all cut all this, and then I'm trying to see where I can enlarge it. I remember I did it somehow. I'm trying to look for that screen. I'm not finding it, but there's I should be enlarging this. Let me do escape.
It's the Zoom. If you go to your Zoom setting, you could increase the screen share in Zoom to 100, 150.
No, it's about zooming the document. It's not even the Zoom itself, the document. Let me reshare it, because I think I'm able to let me see.
If you go on the top of your screen sharing, it should give you the option of zooming the page. Let me see. I can't see it on yours, but it's usually a plus or minus. Yeah, see the plus sign next to document. Yeah.
But this is for a new document.
Nothing?
No, that's for a new document. I know where it was.
No, okay, that's not it.
Okay. I'll just...
That's a new, it's new. Click out, that's it. Yeah. I don't know where it is, but you should have the ability to do that. Sorry about this. Maybe it's the magnifying glass on the right.
I'll say the result should be control zoom. Okay, I'll try to see how I can expand it. Is that better? Is it better now? Can you confirm?
Yeah, let's increase it.
Ndio.
Oh, yeah. Asante. So I'll be doing a side screen, as I'd said. I'll be using a side screen. So I'll be starting with the word safiri, which is travel. So if somebody travel, we say amesafiri. Amesafiri. Now, journey or travel is what we call safari. So how we get the word safari? So safari is like ameenda safari or amesafiri, which means safari is the travel of the journey. So I'm having a journey the next week, or I'm probably having my next journey this time. So that word journey with a noun is safari. Safari, that's the journey. Now to travel now is safiri. So safari for journey and safiri for traveling. Now when you're traveling, the most important thing you need to have is your luggage. And your luggage, as you can see, your luggage is mizigo.
Mizigo.
Now mizigo is not probably just a suitcase you are having. Mizigo is all the property you are having. We call it mizigo. So whether it's the suitcase, whether it's the fruits you're carrying, whether anything else you're carrying into your travel, we call it mizigo. So you'll find somebody will be telling you maybe a tout is mizigo tuweke wapi? Where do we put your mizigo? Mizigo tuweke wapi? Where do you put your luggage? Or somebody will ask you, una mizigo? So if they ask you una mizigo, they're basically asking you whether you have a luggage. So una mizigo, it means do you have a luggage? So luggage is mizigo. That's the word una mizigo. Now, once we know the vocabularies for traveling and we know the vocabulary for a luggage, and the next thing we need to know is the mode of traveling. Now, if you're traveling on road, if you're traveling on road, the road itself is called barabara. Barabara. Barabara is a road. So whether it's a highway, whether it's just a road, or is a street, anything you're traveling in between is called barabara. So we give it a name, a road. So that road can have its types of road. It can be a highway, it can be whatever, but we call it barabara. Barabara. That's the road. So you are traveling, we will say, if you're traveling by a road, we will say unasafiri kutumia barabara, or we will say unasafiri barabarani, which means you are traveling using road or you are traveling on the road. Barabarani, on the road. So that's one type of traveling you can take. You can equally travel via air. Now, air, we call it anga. That's air. Anga. Anga. Like how you say anga in English. Anga. So that's the air. Anga. So we can say unasafiri kutumia anga ama unasafiri angani. So we can say unasafiri angani, which means you're traveling on air or space. Now, you can equally travel. You can equally travel on water again. On water. You can use the water transport. Now, water, we call it maji. So water is maji. Now you can be unasafiri maji, kupitia maji, or unasafiri majini. Unasafiri majini. It means you're traveling on water. You're using your mode of travel is via water, is majini. The word ni, if you add in maji, that ni at the last shows inside, in. That's why you say angani, in the space. Majini, in the water. So you're traveling, unasafiri majini. You can equally travel using rail. And rail, in Swahili, we call it reli. We borrow it directly from English. We call it reli. Reli, rail. Now, based on those various modes of travel, either via rail, via water, via barabara, which is kwa reli, angani, via airspace or space, barabarani via water, or majini, barabarani via road, or majini via water. Now we'll define various instruments you use, or tools, or mode of traveling you'll use. For example, if you are traveling via road, you will likely use some of the following. You will use basically vehicle, which in Kiswahili is gari. Gari. So you'll use vehicle, which is gari. You can equally use a bus, which is basi. You can equally travel using a taxi, which Swahili just call it taxi. Taxi or taxi. You can equally have a category of traveling using a public vehicle. Public service vehicle. Public service vehicle, we call them, which you call PSV, we call them gari ya umma. Now gari ya umma, we are starting, so we'll start with the vehicle. You see, English ends with the public service vehicle. So English ends with the vehicle, so we'll start with that vehicle, gari. So gari ya umma. Umma is public. So you are using public vehicle. Ya, which means belongs to. So that gari belongs to umma. Gari ya umma, which is a public vehicle. So those are what you can use. You can also use a motorbike, which Kiswahili call it piki piki. Piki piki. Very interesting name. Piki piki. But also, people can call public vehicle. In other countries, like in Tanzania, I know they call it daladala. So they'll either call it daladala. It's the same. So when you hear daladala, it's actually the same as public vehicle. Or piki-piki. Piki-piki is the motorbike. So if you're using road, you can use those. You can either use gari, basi, taxi, gari ya umma, or daladala, or piki-piki. Sister Portia?
Salama, King brother. How do I say the one that's not a private taxi, but it has this wheel in the front and then two wheels in the back?
Oh, what English called talk? Is it talk?
Yeah,
Tuk-tuk.
tuk-tuk or something like that. How do I say that? What's the Kiswahili word? Every time I keep calling it a dollar, but it's not a dollar.
Okay.
Behi guy or something like that.
Yeah, basically, I saw they have now assembling office in Nairobi, and that the spelling for them is admin tuk in English, but Swahili call it tuk-tuku. In fact, we call it tuk-tuk. That's what they call it, tuk-tuk. Unatumia tuk-tuk or unatumia tuku. Sometimes you find them, they put tuku-tuku. But the best definition they always call tuk-tuk. It's a modern one. So we call it tuk-tuk. But also if you go in Tanzania, they might have another name for it. But common name we know for it is tuk-tuk, which we are borrowing from the tuk-tuk of the English. So you say tuku-tuku, and you say tuk-tuk.
King brother, in Tanzania, you're right. There's a name for it that I'm struggling to pronounce. I was hoping that you knew it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I know they might have a different name for it, but in the normal Swahili, if you say tuk-tuk, people will know which name you're talking about. But sometimes daladala is just the public vehicle, and that do not qualify to be a vehicle. So it's actually a piki-piki, if you know it. It's actually is an advanced piki-piki, which means it's an advanced motorbike. So the two wheels behind. So we in Kenya here, we basically call it tuk-tuk as a normal name, but we are borrowing that name from also English. So those are some of the major means if you're using road. But if you're using the rail, we're only having a train, which is called gari la moshi. Gari la moshi, train. And the reason why we call it gari la moshi, the name gari we know is a vehicle. Moshi is what do you call it? Is the smoke it removes, that smoke. When it gets out some smoke, actually moshi is smoke. So we call it the vehicle that gets, or the vehicle that emits smokes, because we are trying to borrow the name from how we saw the first train looking like. And it was Brother Glenn will tell us. You see, it is which type of train is that, Glenn? This one that emits smoke as it goes up around the country is the old one, the colonial one we have here around in Kenya. Is it this how it's called in English? This smoke one. There's electric train, and then the one is Glenn around? Elder Glenn?
Yeah, I keep dropping out. Are you talking about the steam engine?
Yeah, steam engine. I think that's what I wanted. The steam engine one, the one that gets smoke. So we call it gari la moshi.
Steam engine.
Yeah, we call it gari la moshi. Yeah. That's the train.
My internet keeps dropping out.
Okay. Sorry for that. So if we are using road and rail, these are what you use: gari, basi, taxi, gari ya umma or daladala, piki-piki or tuk-tuku or gari la moshi as it is on public transport. Now, if you're using water, we only use one, which is actually the ship, we call it meli. So in water we use the ship, which we call meli. So meli is the name for the ship, meli. But you have the small ones. There are some small ones these guys move around with in water. They have some, they pull this sides, they move around like that. That one we call mashua, which is a boat, the small boats. We call it mashua. 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 The boat. We have meli. But you also have the dhow. That is very small one. The dhow one is very small. Jahazi, very small one. We call it jahazi. These are possible on water. Oh, I also forgot. You can also be traveling using, of course, a bicycle. I didn't think bicycle can also be, of course, there are cities in the country still use bicycle. I don't know if you bicycle as a public means of transport. In fact, there's a one town in Kenya next to Nairobi. They use bicycle, and bicycle was borrowed directly from English, so we call it baiskeli. Baiskeli. And like motorbike, which you call piki, the bicycle we call it baiskeli. Baiskeli. And it's still being used. So that's on road, but on water we use meli or mashua or jahazi. Now on air we only use ndege. Ndege. We call it ndege. 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 There's one I was also leaving out in the water, which you call the canoe. You know, there are various type of it. The canoe is the one we call dhow. The normal word for canoe is dhow. In fact, there's mtumbwi, but we are commonly, people will call a canoe a dhow. But there's mtumbwi, but we call it dhow. This second one is mtumbwi. 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 But if you say dhow, people understand what you want. Dhow is the canoe. Now, as I say, on air, we actually use what we call ndege. 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 Yes. Now, we are done with those three, what to use on those. So, and we've discussed what to use on road, what to use on water, and what to use on air. Now, we have names of those who the requirements, for example, on the road. On the road, we say we use gari, but we have driver, which we have also borrowed directly from English. Driver, and Swahili is dereva. Dereva. Driver is dereva. Dereva. Of course, the conductor, we call them utingo. Utingo. Utingo is a name for conductor. Utingo. But of course, utingo, but also they have also just tried to borrow it in English again. So sometimes they just call it conductor as it is, but with that in English. So they say conductor. Conductor. Or utingo. That's a conductor. Now we have things like, for example, the fare, the bus fare. The fare we call it nauli. Nauli. Nauli is the bus fare we use. Nauli. That's the bus fare. Nauli. So we have dereva, we have go or conductor,
Um,
then we have nauli.
no.
Now a passenger is called abiria. A passenger, any passenger, wherever they are actually the name we use for passenger is abiria. 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 So abiria is a passenger.
Abiria.
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 Abiria. That's the passenger. Now, you see sometimes they bring the word, if you look in the chat, there's a word called njia. Njia is actually also implied to be a road, but is the same as barabara. What they say is that njia as a road. So I'll ask you, which road are you using? Which road? Basically, that road is a barabara. So I'm saying, which road are you taking? Njia gani? So you say, I'm using natumia hii njia. That's actually a barabara. So I'm using this route, especially not like even which road. It's basically which route. Njia will either refer as a route, but njia is a minute, in terms of the initial understanding of a njia, is the small panya routes, the small roads, the small diversions in between. So that's what njia is. But I can ask you, which route are you taking? Which road are you using? So I will ask you, unatumia njia gani? Or I'll ask you, unatumia barabara gani? Basically, I will still be referring to the road. So which road are you taking? Which route are you taking? Barabara gani or njia gani? So njia is the same as barabara, which is the road. Now, the vehicle will have actually to get at a petrol station because you're using the road. So petrol station is kituo cha mafuta. Petrol station is kituo is kituo cha mafuta. So the key word here, the petrol is what they call mafuta. Station is kituo. So be it a police station, we'll say kituo ya polisi or kituo cha polisi is kituo. A station is a kituo. So a bus station is kituo cha basi. Petrol station is kituo cha mafuta. So the word mafuta is what is petrol. So we call petrol as mafuta. But mafuta also has an extra meaning. So mafuta is, we have a category of mafuta. We can have a mafuta as the cooking oil. Still cooking oil we call mafuta. The oil you use on your body, the body oil, we still call it mafuta. Yeah, I see General Naki saying mafuta is also oil in their country. And even the main oil itself, the oil, is still mafuta. So whether it's a cooking oil, it's a body lotion, it's a oil itself, it's a petrol, we call it mafuta. That's basically what mafuta is. So it's implying all. So we say kituo cha mafuta, it means where the gas station. Then, because actually when they say gas station, I think the word gas is from America. Because in Kenya, they are retail petrol station. Most of them are called petrol station. They are not called even gas station. They are called petrol stations. Petrol stations all over. But in other countries, I think in America, they call it a gas.
Yeah, UK terminology is petrol.
Yeah, petrol. So that's what we bought in Kenya, for example. So we use petrol station. Then, apart from that, in terms of road, so we have a conductor or utingo, we have dereva, we have kituo cha mafuta, and we have abiria. Now, if you go to air, the pilot, we'll call him rubani. Rubani. That's in Swahili. Pilot, rubani. The passengers will still be called abiria. Whatever they are, they're still called abiria. Now, the passport, in most of the places, they either call it pasi, or we borrow it directly from English and say pasipoti.
Yeah.
But we call it pasi. Somebody will ask you, uko na pasi? Which means, do you have a passport? Or do you have a pass? Or we call it passport, directly from English. We borrow it directly from English. The same way, even visa, we are borrowing directly from English. So just call it visa. That's how we call it over. So here you'll ask, someone will ask, uko na visa? The same visa we are borrowing it from English. Or pasi for the passporting. Now, if it is the petrol for plane, we'll call it mafuta ya ndege. Now, the plane's oil is what you call the plane petrol. We call it the plane oil, mafuta ya ndege. That's on air as well. And ndege is the plane, as I've said. Now, on water itself, we have a variety of water. So the sea, and sometimes we also mix the sea with ocean. We always have one definition. We only have one vocabulary for it. We call it bahari. So both sea or ocean, we call it bahari. Bahari. That's for both. Whether it's for sea or ocean. Now, those who always sail on the sea or the ocean, we call them, English call them sailors or sailor. In Swahili, we call them baharia, from the word bahari, baharia. Or if they are sailors, you add the word mabaharia, mabaharia. Now, those are either you can't call them swimmers, either the sailors. Yeah, mabaharia or baharia on the water. So those are also few things to use on water. Any questions so far? I think I've tried to cover both basic vocabularies for both travel. Yes.
I have a question. I'm just going through the vocabulary. I thought this is karibu. Is karibu? Can you tell me the difference between karibu and karibu?
The difference between?
Here in your Swahili, the English, under the word gari, which means that you say cars. I see karibu, but is that a different karibu? Because the definition is close to nearby. I'm getting confused. I thought karibu, when you say karibu sana, welcome very much.
Yeah.
Karibu tena, welcome again.
Oh, I get you. We have the word karibu, which means welcome, and it also means closer. So, when somebody tells you welcome, I think that's why the word was borrowed from in terms of the meaning. Karibu. When somebody tells you welcome, what do they basically gesture for you? They tell you come closer. Welcome, come. So the word welcome comes from the word come. Now come is kuja. So when you're coming, it means you're coming closer to the person. You cannot tell somebody welcome as they move away. Now that's the notion. But you see in English, even when somebody leaves your home, and maybe after the visitation you tell them welcome, even if they're leaving, which is the word karibu. So karibu has two meanings. It means welcome, but it can also mean close. Karibu na mimi, close to me, close. The opposite when it means close is mbali, which now means far. So
Teacher, can you use the second meaning of karibu, the close to nearby? May you say it in a simple sentence, please?
now you'll say for the second one is uko karibu na mimi. Uko karibu na mimi, which means you are closer to me. Uko karibu na mimi, you are closer to me. You are closer to me. Uko karibu na mimi. Or you'll say karibu nikupige. Karibu nikupige. I almost, or I closely beat you. I almost beat you. I was very close to beating you. Karibu nikupige. I was very close to beating you. I was almost beating you. Karibu nikupige. So that's how you use karibu for the second meaning. Any questions, Sister Portia?
You are a good teacher. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Welcome. So that karibu has two meaning, and for those who are confused again, I think now it's a bit clear for you. Maki?
What is war? What is water again? Sorry, I missed that.
Water.
Water is maji.
Water is maji.
Margie. So I'm just wondering, Bahari is sea, water is Mari.
Now you see, when you refer to the difference between Bahari sea and water maji, is when you now refer to the two, is that the ocean or the sea has water. It can also mean that ocean is a big water body. So water being maji, and ocean or the sea being bahari, it basically means that is a big water body. So there should not be difference on that, because you can also not call a water in a glass as ocean to mean the same thing that's a water. But when you say ocean, you basically mean is a large water body. So there's water in that ocean. That's why it's called ocean. Joranunaki?
Yeah, thanks.
My brother.
You had a question?
Yes, my lord.
Go ahead with the question.
Yeah, no, I just wanted you to say. No, I just wanted you to say that oil. What is oil in Swahili? My wife thinks I'm lying. That it's my food.
Your wife thinks you're lying. Yeah, it is mafuta.
Yeah, if okay. So.
Yeah, it's mafuta that refers to everything. Whether it's a cooking oil, a body oil, a petrol, or an oil as a gas oil, the one, all of them are mafuta.
Sure. Thanks, my
Yes.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Now, the other things remaining are not basic traveling words that I will also share this screenshot so that you can learn the rest here. For example, an hotel, something like a tourist. Of course, a tourist is very important. A tourist is mtalii. Tourist is mtalii. 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 They are called watalii. Mtalii. So I'm a tourist. Mimi ni mtalii. I'm a tourist. Mimi ni mtalii. Then basically a ticket we borrow from English tiketi. Yes? Somebody? Okay. So ticket is directly from English tiketi. So with that, I think we are okay. There's a difference between, of course, a luggage. A luggage can have a category. So there can be begi, which you borrowed from English, begi, but basically it means a bag. And there's sanduku. Now sanduku can now mean that you are traveling box. The one now you are carrying. Either you call them a suitcase. We can call them sanduku. Is a box. So it can either be a suitcase. It can be the traditional one. In Africa, we were still using the metal one for high school. When you're admitting kids for high school or for schools, there's a one they're going with the metallic one. That metallic one can still be called a sanduku. But sanduku can also mean a coffin. So coffin is also called sanduku. The box is also called sanduku. Your suitcase is called sanduku. So all of them are sanduku. While it's very close to the last word, which is far away from us, is called sadaka. Now sadaka, which is close to sanduku, now this is a tithe. These are different, very far away. Is a tithe. Is it a tithe? Or the one, I don't know, people who are in church know the sadaka. The one, the difference between a tithe and whatever. An offering or a tithe. I don't know the difference between an offering and a tithe. But the other one is called sadaka. Now the one you give in the normal services is very close to the sanduk, but it's called sadaka. Now that's the offering in the church. So comrades, that will bring us to the end of the lesson. The rest of the few vocabularies here, I will share the screenshot so that you can also learn to pronounce them. Unless there's any question, please, I'll take some questions. Anybody?
Good. You've given us a lot to think about.
Okay. If there's no question, then we'll then meet again next week, and I will share the screenshot of this.
Brother Pigeon,
Yes.
barabara.
Yes.
Doesn't it mean fast?
Does it?
Doesn't it mean fast?
No. Barabara is road.
Road.
As it's road, it can also be used to mean smoothly. Now somebody will say barabara. Instead of barabara, they will say now barabara. Barabara. If you pronounce it like that, barabara, it means it goes on smoothly without any problem. But you say barabara, it means road. So how you pronounce it makes difference. So it's not fast. It's road, barabara or barabara to mean smoothly. So your issues went smoothly. Mambo yako yalienda barabara. which means smoothly. Are you okay with that, Sawindok?
Yes.
Okay. Fast is Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa means fast. I know you have an holiday called Kwanzaa. So Kwanzaa is what is fast. That which comes first is called Kwanzaa. Okay, any other question? Okay. Now, without any other question, comrades, then let's meet next week, Tuesday. I'll try to see the other recording so that I can share them. I'll assign a record to the phone directly, to the laptop directly, but I'll check it and then upload it. But with that, then let's meet next week. Thank you for your time and hope you are learning something.
Asante.